One Zambia, One Nation. Welcome to this edition of Zanis News. I'm your presenter, Sarah Miti. Top stories in the news. Small-scale miners urged to form cooperatives. Tazara's future on government agenda. Farmers assured of early delivery of inputs. Plus, girls' education key to socio-economic development. Begins Zanis News with an item from Mchinga Province, where Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development Permanent Secretary Subeta Mutelo has urged Zambian citizens intending to conduct mining activities at Kanyelele Gold Mine in Pika to form cooperatives. Ms. Mutelo, who was on a familiarization tour of the mine, is disappointed to note that illegal and unsafe mining activities have continued at Kanyelele despite a warning being issued for illegal miners to vacate the mine.
It is barely a week since illegal miners were warned to vacate the Kanyelele gold mine, but at least 200 illegal miners have continued with the mining activities. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development, Subeta Mutelo, has visited the mine and urged the miners found on site to form cooperatives.
We've heard of these illegal miners here in Kanyelele, so we thought we should come and sensitize our people and educate them on the importance of forming cooperatives. It's a very, very important thing that these people who are mining illegal gold here should involve themselves into, because there are a lot of benefits in forming these cooperatives. If you look at this place, you can see that these people have been mining these areas using hoes, using picks and shovels.
Mwakwata nokwimba hizi not nama shovels nama piki ndivyo fini na baba ni aba bamiyete na mama mashine ya kupimira kokwe batapa bali concentration iweme.
The miners are also using mercury, which is said to be hazardous.
Any usage of mercury requires the clearance by the Zambia Environmental Management Agency. Okay? And that is why we want to give them licenses, so that these licenses will come with conditions.
Peggy Coutinho for Zanis in Mpika, Mchinga Province.
Now, Vice President Mtalina Lumango has called on the Correctional Service Command to operate in line with the international and national guidelines on how inmates should be treated. Mrs. Nalumango maintained that the Correction Service should observe and apply the Mandela rules as stipulated by the United Nations. She pointed out that the government, through the Correctional Service, is progressively providing the expected correctional services to female inmates. The Vice President said this in a speech read on her behalf by Minister of Foreign Affairs and Internal Security, Jack Mwimbu, during the commemoration of the International Day of Prayer and Action for Inmates held at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross. Speaking earlier, Zambia Correctional Service Commissioner General Frederick Chulukutu said there is need for concerted effort in improving the welfare of female inmates and circumstantial children. Meanwhile, the steering committee chairperson for the International Day of Prayer and Action for Inmates, Rebecca Monde, said the committee endeavored to mobilize churches, individuals, and organizations to make the lives of incarcerated women comfortable.
It is gratifying that government, through the Zambia Correctional Service, is progressively providing the expected correctional services to female inmates. However, while progress is being made, is highly appreciated, much more still needs to be done. In this regard, I call upon the Commissioner General and the entire command to operate in line with international and national standards and guidelines which stipulate how inmates should be treated.
As you may be aware, our centers were built decades ago at a time when the idea was to punish, I must say, the natives, ourselves. These are the same facilities in use today and are environmentally unfriendly to our inmates, especially women. This, coupled with other challenges, makes life in correctional centers hard for inmates, especially the women.
As steering committee, we emphasize in mobilizing the churches, the community at large, because we believe that all inmates came from the churches, came from the community. So we have to be available, at least to support the inmates.
And over 10 million kwacha worth of movable assets have been successfully forfeited to the state by the Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC. DEC Director General Nelson Banda disclosed that the forfeited items include 3 Toyota Hilux vehicles and 3 earth-moving equipment. During a press briefing in Lusaka, Mr. Banda further disclosed that the Commission has in the last 2 weeks made several arrests for the possession of counterfeit United States dollars, benylin containing codeine, and cannabis. This was done from its operations carried out on the Copperbelt Province, Chirundu and Kazungula in Southern Province, respectively. He explained that 311,700 of the counterfeit United States dollars were seized from 2 Chingola-based businessmen, while 78,600 counterfeit United States dollars were forfeited from a male in Lusaka. Mr. Banda also disclosed that 66 boxes of benylin containing codeine were seized from 2 trucks at Kazungula one-stop border post as they attempted to enter the country from Botswana, while 2 females were arrested in Lusaka for possession of 68.1 kg and 68.8 kg of cannabis. Now, Southern Province has received 832 health center kits to be distributed to 412 health facilities in the region. Provincial Health Director Kalistas Kayunga says the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, has so far distributed to 14 districts out of the 15, representing a 60% coverage. Dr. Kayunga has since called on health personnel in the province to ensure that the drugs are safeguarded and benefit the community. Nchimunya Nalumpa brings us this report.
Government has continued supplying medical kits to improve the drug situation in most health facilities across the country, especially those in rural areas. And Southern Province has also received its share, with over 832 kits delivered to the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA hub in Choma, for distribution. Southern Province Health Director Dr. Kalistas Kayunga announced the development to journalists in Choma.
So as Southern Province, we have been allocated a total of 878 rural health center kits for the next 2 months. And out of that, only 24 rural health center kits are yet to be delivered, and these are meant to go to Sinazongwe district, which is the only district in Southern Province that has not yet received the health center kits. And it is anticipated that within the course of next week, we should be able to deliver through ZAMSA to Sinazongwe district.
Dr. Kayunga has also directed health workers in the province to use the drugs for the intended purpose.
For our health workers, this gesture by government calls for accountability. And we want to remind our health workers that we must ensure that these medicines we've received are put to good use, and they must reach the intended recipients, which is our community. And we also want to encourage our members of the community, please help us in terms of monitoring and help us to account for the drugs. If you hear any stories, any messages about any of our health workers who is involved in the misappropriation of our medicines, please don't hesitate to report.
And the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, is committed to complete the distribution on schedule.
Currently, we are standing at 60% distribution coverage in terms of taking health center kits to the last mile, that is at service delivery points. So far, we've completed the distribution in 5 districts, and we're hoping to end up last mile distribution by close of next week.
Gwembe district is one of the districts in the province that has already received this allocation, a development that has cheered Area Member of Parliament.
We have received all the necessary required drug kits for all our 18 health facilities. This is unprecedented. This has never happened in the history of our district. The restocking of drugs in our clinics, we are assured that the health of our people will improve.
Nchimunya Lumpa, Zanis, in Choma, Southern Province.
Minister of Transport and Logistics Frank Tayali says it is critical to expedite discussions on how to revamp and recapitalize Tazara. Mr. Tayali stated that President Hakainde Hichilema has already given directives on how the future of the company should be structured with the full involvement of the Chinese government. Mr. Tayali was speaking in Kampirimposhi district when he graced the 47th anniversary celebration of Tazara. We have details in the following report.
Over the years, Tazara has faced numerous challenges, both internal and external, yet it has demonstrated resilience, adaptability, and commitment. This is why these people have gathered in Kampirimposhi to acknowledge and celebrate the extraordinary journey of Tazara over the past 47 years. Minister of Transport and Logistics Frank Tayali graced the 47th anniversary celebration of the Tazara in Kampirimposhi.
Tazara must evolve, innovate, and adapt to the changing dynamics of the global transportation industry. The railway company must remain competitive, customer-focused, and environmentally sustainable. I encourage Tazara to explore new avenues for growth and diversification. This could include expanding its services, collaborating with other transportation stakeholders, and leveraging on emerging technologies to improve efficiency and customer experience.
Meanwhile, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Zambia, Dong Shawi, says the revitalization of the Tazara will bring socio-economic development to the central province and Zambia in particular.
Infrastructure and transportation, if we can increase the supply, that will create new demand for the mining and agriculture. That will be a very strong dynamic for the economic development of Central Province and Zambia. Therefore, this revitalization, that is not only a very important infrastructure project, that is also a social, economic, and political project for the New Town government's idea for the development of the country.
And Tazara Managing Director Bruno Shingandu has welcomed the revitalization of the Tazara.
The roads are in such a state that they are being destructed, they are being destroyed, and it is because the usage of the railway line is not sufficient, and the railway is not in a position to move this because it requires revitalization. It is for this reason that we are looking forward to the timely revitalization of Tazara. Tazara needs to be revitalized, and we are glad that our president is looking at this area very.
Central Province Minister Kredranjoa says the revitalization of the Tazara will inspire investors in Central Province.
Transport and communication, cabinet and government, they are looking in that direction that this institution is revitalized. That is really going to inspire the investors in the mining sector and the agriculture sector.
Daniel Billy for Zanis News in Kampirimposhi, Central Province.
Over 5 million kwacha has been dispersed in Milenge district under the Constituency Development Fund CDF to 19 cooperatives as well as small businesses and groups. Speaking when handing over the checks to beneficiaries at a ceremony held at Kafanka area of the district, Luapula Province Permanent Secretary Mighty Mumba called for the prudent use of the CDF grants and loans. Details in the following report.
Kafanka area of Milenge district was a center of highlight where Milenge district occasioned disbursements of close to 3 million kwacha empowerment loans under its 2022 Constituency Development Fund and over 2 million kwacha empowerment grants under its 2023 CDF allocation to clubs, cooperatives, groups, and small business entities whose applications have been approved. Speaking during a courtesy call on Milenge District Commissioner, Luapula Province Permanent Secretary Mighty Mumba emphasized the need to fully sensitize recipient and would-be beneficiaries on a mindset change for prudency in the utilization of CDF.
Which can make a difference within Milenge district. But it depends on the way we interact with the beneficiaries again as the government wins. And also, we try and, as locals also, we try and change our mindset. Because this is money which is meant to change the lives of our people. The other week, I was in Mwense, it was close to the same amount. It was 4-point-something million. Milenge is blessed in terms of good soils. The rainfall pattern here is good. Those that want to invest in farming should do so that our production in terms of maize and other cash crops goes up.
It's a game changer. There's no minuses about it. But as a custodian of this program, we're still faced with a bit more challenges that we need to reconcile. And then deliverables are for all of us to benefit. Giving is one thing. Implementation and supervision. Because remember, it takes a lot of time for people to change the mindset. So our job doesn't end here. And there's only one vision carrier. So once we buy into the vision carrier, the execution of CDF will be so easy for all of us to achieve. An achievement by me, by you, by the president, it's for all of us, for our society, to uplift the standard of our people.
At the event, the permanent secretary and area member of parliament addressed the community before the disbursements.
2.9 million will be disbursed to 19 cooperatives, enterprises, and TDF empowerment grants amounting to 2.151 million, which will benefit 119 cooperatives and clubs who applied under CDF to support their various business projects as requested in their business proposals. I am urging all cooperatives and other groups receiving the funds not to share the money, but to utilize the funds prudently according to its intended purpose.
David Ndovi for Zanis.
Still in CDF news, Namwala Council Chairperson Ebo Monga says about 318 youths have successfully been awarded skills training bursaries under Namwala Constituency Development Fund CDF. Mr. Monga disclosed that the successful youths will be enrolled for skills training at Vavika Trades Institute in Lusaka and Choma's Mawagali Training Institutes. Details in the following report.
318 successful applicants for CDF bursaries have finally been dispatched to pursue different skills at Viveka Trade Institute and Choma's Maogari Trade Institutes. The students have been sponsored under the 2022 fourth quarter and 2023 first quarter of CDF skills training bursaries allocation.
So we have sent students, both females and males, to go and do different skills. This covers 2 quarters, fourth quarter for 2022 and the first quarter for 2023. This is a plus to Namara district or Namara constituents, for this is the first time sending a big number of students to go and do skill training.
Namala District Planning Officer is happy to see an increase of applicants from 14 to 318.
Must be mentioned that of late we've received at least an overwhelming response from the youths in Namala. When we had the first CDF 2022, we only had 14 applicants, the whole constituents. But after a series of community engagements and publication, and also explaining the importance of these training skills and telling them so that the government is willing to see that we have skilled youths in the constituency.
So applicants are grateful for the opportunity.
I thank the CDF fund for helping us, for giving us this opportunity to show our talents. And I thank the President, His Excellency, HH, for also giving us this opportunity to go to school.
To do it, earth-moving equipment, timber trucks. So I think for me it's the first time hearing this. I'm very glad. Thank you, Don, for this opportunity.
shortlisted to go and study computer studies at Mauvika Trade Institution for a period of 1 year. I really thank Mr. President for everything that he has done for us. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for this CDF money that you have given us.
The introduction of the CDF skills bursaries for youth is a sure way of helping young people become self-employed. For Zanis, I'm Walinda Piri reporting in Namala District of Southern Province.
In Muchinga Province, Smart Zambia Institute in Muchinga Province has embarked on a sensitization program for heads of government departments, HODs, on the effective use of the e-government service bus. Muchinga Province Principal Information and Communications Technology ICT Officer Francis Hachombwa says the program aims at equipping the HODs with the necessary ICT tools to conduct government business in a more secure way. Henry Lumpa has more in the following report.
In a bid to make government work fast and effective through e-services, Smart Zambia introduced the government service bus for easy online access to government services. In Muchinga Province, Smart Zambia has since embarked on a sensitization program for heads of government departments on the use of e-government platforms for their day-to-day duties.
If we are to communicate, even heads of department, we created Teams instead of using WhatsApp. Because Teams is more secure and reliable. What you can do with WhatsApp, Teams can do it better.
When you are visiting this service bus, you will find that the services will be done in a faster way, they will be done in a secure way, they will always be available, and they will be available wherever you are.
And the Department of Lands, which is already utilizing the e-government portal, highlighted some of the benefits.
As we speak, we have about 60 online services as a Ministry of Lands on the same Zampoto account. Zilas allows members of the public to access land-related services online, like submitting recommendations for you that acquire plots from the local authorities. In the past, you do carry your physical file all the way to Lusaka or to the nearest Ministry of Lands.
The rolling out of e-services in all government sections is a significant step towards modern technology. Henry Lumpa Jr., Zanis in Chinsali, Muchinga Province.
Government has assured farmers on the Copper Belt of prudent and speedy delivery of inputs for the 2023-2024 farming season. Provincial Permanent Secretary Augustine Kasongo says the government will ensure that challenges relating to administration of inputs are addressed. Noah Kangali brings us this report.
Zambia each year commemorates the International Cooperatives Day, which falls on July 14th. Farmers this year assembled in Impongwe district on the Copper Belt to commemorate the event under the theme Cooperatives, Partners for Accelerated Sustainable Development. Organizing Committee Chairperson Ruben Chinamisa highlighted challenges facing cooperatives in the country.
Our usual cry as the cooperative movement is inadequate funding, high cost of production, late delivery of farm inputs, among other issues. If we are to operate as viable entities, we feel that these issues be addressed, as no one wants to continue doing business which does not generate optimum benefits.
Officiating at the event, Copperbelt Province Permanent Secretary Augustine Kasongo assured that the new Dawn administration will address challenges facing cooperatives in the country.
The new Dawn government has responded to your concerns and increased the floor price of maize from 180 last year to 280 per 50 kg bag this year. I've also noted your concerns such as the high cost of doing business and the need for timely distribution of inputs. The government will be happy to have a robust and thriving cooperative movement so as to have millions of members who not only contribute to their communities but also to the nation.
Mr. Kasongo further took time to hand over blankets and cleaning materials procured by cooperatives at a cost of 14,000 kwacha to Mpongwe Mission Hospital.
I'm very happy to associate myself with the cooperators today for showing that indeed they are responsible cooperators. When you are addressing corporate entities, we always talk about them paying back to the community through corporate social responsibility. We have also come to learn today that even the cooperatives can also cooperate and also remember where they're coming from.
With these blankets, it's going to make a very big difference and make the stay of our people in the hospital a little bit friendly despite the problems they are coming with. We can assure you that as the hospital management, we're going to make sure we safeguard these items and we put them to a very good use.
Noah Kangali for Zanis in Mpongwe.
The Lusaka Province Minister Shiu Muliata affirmed government's commitment to supporting agricultural activities in the province. Ms. Muliata said this when she officiated at the 95th Lusaka Province Agricultural and Commercial Show held at Whippers Ground in Luangwa districts. We have more in the following report.
Lusaka Province Minister Muliata says government has reinforced policies which provide public support and investment in agriculture. The minister added that government has created enabling environment to attract private sector and smallholder interest in farm production, processing and trade.
To fully exploit agriculture and land-based development opportunities, government continues to advance well-articulated agriculture policies and strategies.
The minister also called on farmers in the province to partner with government to grow agriculture in the province.
I want to appeal to our farmers to partner with government so that together we can bring development to this country. Let us use our comparative and competitive advantage as the province, as a nation, to ensure we attain inclusive economic transformation.
Meanwhile, Lusaka Province Agriculture Commercial Show Society chairperson Martin Vwalia has appealed to government to formulate policies that will regulate cooperation in the province.
We'd like to put our lost decades behind and move forward with a new Dawn government and its policy of inclusive development. Cooperatives are in different sectors and are not only agriculture. Therefore, the government should tap something in our different sector groupings, because this is the only institution which can help government create employment for economic transformation of our country and lift the majority citizens out of poverty. It is on this vein, Honorable Minister, that we would like our able government to consider formulating policies that will help apex bodies such as ZCF, PCUs and DCUs to regulate cooperators and cooperatives for the smooth running of this powerful and great industry, which in turn will help government as well to create employment.
The minister also presented awards to the winning cooperatives. Lista Ndumba, Luangwa District.
In education news, Minister of Education Douglas Siakalima says the desire of government is to see more girls complete school and contribute to the socio-economic development of the country. Mr. Siakalima disclosed that government has continued to record success stories of girls completing education through programs such as Advancement of Girls' Education page. He further revealed that government has initiated a program called Keeping Girls in School, which is meant to ensure that more girls proceed to tertiary institutions. The minister said this last evening in a speech read for him by Ministry of Education Permanent Secretary for Administration Noriana Muneku during the fundraising dinner dance organized by Ibenga Girls Secondary School alumni for raising funds to construct a modern kitchen at the school. And school head teacher Sister Estela Kasonde said management is grateful for the step taken by the alumni to raise funds for the construction of a modern kitchen. Speaking earlier, Alumni Association Chairperson Joyce Chibuye said the former pupils decided to help their school by giving back through the construction of an ultra-modern kitchen.
Ibenga has produced high flyers in various fields who are contributing to the development of this country and across the world. Outstanding women include the first Deputy Speaker of National Assembly, Honorable Attractor Chisangano, and the Sergeant at Arms at the National Assembly, Mrs. Florence Mwana Makwa. Another notable woman is Captain Yichidi Chiseyengi Ndlovu, the first female pilot in Zambia.
We are very grateful for the efforts that you are making
to make the school even better. Indeed, the school has a lot of needs, and we can only manage to meet those needs with the help of committed people like this group here. We are very grateful, and we are looking forward to more work with yourselves so that we can continue educating the girl child.
We found out that the school really needed help in many other areas. So sometime in 2020, sister and the management of Ibenga requested that we get some pots for the dining hall. And people came on board from all over the world. We raised a bit of money and we donated 95, was it 95, sister? 95 pots for the dining hall at Ibenga.
Lastly, in the news, Minister of Sport, Youth and Arts, Elvis Nkando, says government will soon introduce a monthly sports day aimed at improving fitness and wellness in the country. Mr. Nkando says government recognizes that a fit and healthy workforce translates to high productivity. He added that government will further continue encouraging all citizens to take part in fitness and wellness activities in order to improve their health and avoid non-communicable diseases. The minister, who was speaking at this year's intercompany relay, thanked the Zambia Amateur Athletics for their commitments towards recreation, health and wellness through the intercompany relay.
ICR is just not about sport, but also about health, as the event provides a platform for screening of different medical conditions. And I want to emphasize that apart from walking or running, we are also treated with a lot of activities where you are supposed to pay money and the services are being provided for free. Thank you very much for those that have really provided such services. We really appreciate. We all need to be in good health, as good health is very key to productivity. By acting together, we can win. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, here to a sporty, health and fit Zambia. And I should also take advantage of this opportunity to announce that we have started advocating for a fitness and wellness day every month, where you can run, where you can walk, where you can exercise in any form. You can also exercise in any form. And very soon we are taking the CAP memo to cabinet so that every month we are able to meet as a nation and also participate in Fitness and Wellness Day.
This success could not have been possible without the support that we get from the ministry. I think we all know that the support we are all getting has never been offered before to federations. And for us in athletics, this event helps us to raise money to promote athletics. It also helps us to enable the people that come here to have free testing and screening of medical conditions.
And that item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, we have a recap of stories that made headlines. Small-scale miners urged to form cooperatives. Tazara's future on government agenda. Farmers assured of early delivery of inputs. Plus, girls' education key to socio-economic development. And that is all we had in this edition of Zanis News. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of the entire Zanis News production team, it is goodbye and have a good day.